Hello folks, welcome to this video, and this is my recap and review for the BTCC's appearance at Knockhill. We only have 3 events left in the BTCC calendar this season, and Knockhill, obviously the most northern round of the season in Scotland, provided the same kind of thrills and action and activity that we're used to seeing. So let's get on with it. We're going to go through each race and then the championship picture before looking at the other supporting series in the BTCC. So let's start off with race 1. A great start for Colin Turkington, as you'd expect for a rear-wheel drive car, but Alan Taylor-Smith still got a good start. ATS was second on the grid. The Toyotas had a busy time themselves. Aidan Moffat went through the walls with sliding, beating and banging, and saw Tom Ingram come off the worst out of all of it. He was out of race 1 after tapping Moffat in the first corner, and as the Corolla slid back around because of it being front-wheel drive, it hit the front right of the Hyundai and broke apart the car. Watson then follows Moffat by sliding over the crest just in front of Slutton. That was a really slick move there. But there was a proper kind of tin-top moment when Adam Morgan was getting past Darren Taylor-Smith through Leslie's. Josh Cook also got through. There was lots of beating and banging, and ATS was pushed well out wide. And then there was a great pass for second into the first quarter by Josh Cook around the outside of Morgan. Like, seeing those overtakes around the outside was awesome. And it shows that even with these tighter, shorter technical tracks, there are plenty of opportunities for great racing if you have the right cars for it. But probably the headline was another Grand Slam for Colin Turkington out of all of it, who's still trying to get his championship back on track. And you could argue that that was kept for Turkington through race 2. But it was also a great recovery drive for Ingram, who started 20th and jumped up to 10th over the course of the race. It was also good for Hyundai, who had 3 of its cars early on in the places 15 to 17, but saw them climb well up the order in the later phase. Downward Leon got involved in tons of scraps, notably with Sam Osborne. Then later on, Watson pops De Leon off the track. It's not the last I'm going to be talking about De Leon in this, because the Cupras all found some kind of form over the course of the day. They weren't all just running at the back. However, up at the front, Jake Hill charged through and managed to get a win for his 250th BTCC start. Can you believe 250 starts already? Having better tyres and more hybrids allowed him and also Dan Rowbottom to get past Colin Turkington. So Turkington still gets the podium, which is good for him, and it put Jake Hill 5 points up on Tingram by the end of race 2. But one of the things that I ended up seeing as an interesting moment was the near contact between Dan Camish and Ash Sutton, as Sutton was, well, to use the F1 term, passing for the championship. Got P5 in the end. Race 3 was fantastic because we saw a total top 12 reverse grid. Rob Huff ran off at the start. Aaron Taylor-Smith again on the front row. It was hilarious seeing the broadcast and seeing ATS run up to Jake going, "Thank you so much, mate." So 2 front row starts in the day for ATS. But he started to hold on to his position in the early phases of it. But there was a great dive towards the bottom of the track by Tom Ingram. It was a bit like some of the stuff we saw at Croft, actually, into a slower, heavy braking zone for a right-hander. And then he set after trying to get past Rob Huff. But at the same time, Ash Sutton made a great roof around the outside of Adam Morgan at the top of the track. The BMW got onto 2 wheels going through turn 1. And I think that's one of the things that's really cool about Donington. I saw the footage of Mikey Doble, who didn't make the start. I think it was a clutch issue, PMR said. That meant that he didn't make the start of race 3. But there's some great footage of Doble getting onto 2 wheels and just powering through the corner whilst on 2 wheels. But yeah, there was still all kinds of different tussles. Most of the pack was scrobbling behind Moffat, and it wasn't, the most ideal weekend for Scottish drivers. There wasn't any kind of like proper domination at the track. It was great to see some former BTCC Scottish talents like Flash up at the track as well, but it wasn't anything particularly to write home about. But Dan Cam ended up going off partway through, losing nearly a dozen places. Then halfway through, there's just mayhem. It's triggered by everybody just trying to funnel their way past Aaron Taylor-Smith. Sutton sends it into Cook in the hairpin. Then Morgan and Cook get into each other. Cook slides back in front of everybody, loses control of the crest later on, and takes out the foam barrier. And I was trying to remember, because this caused a safety car, when the last safety car was in the BTCC this season. Because I can't really remember anything since Donington, though I feel like I must be wrong about that. Just shows how great the racing's been, that we have all this beating and banging. We saw the crashes that we had at Croft, but there was no red flags, and I don't remember there being safety cars either. Adam Morgan pulled off on the restart with issues with the car, but on the first lap back race we saw Watson and Halstead getting into each other, but Rob Huff managed to, however, pull clear for a second win of the season, 12 months on from that one-off return we had at Knockhill. He made the use of the hybrid when it counted to hold off Tom Ingram and then pull away from Tom Ingram when his hybrid became a lot more scarce. And then the podium was rounded out by another Hyundai, Tom Chilton. Overall, the championship picture looks like this. Ingram is 3 points clear of Jake Hill, with Ash Sutton a further 17 points back. There's Dan Cam 22 back from Sutton, and Colin Turkington is on 224 with Josh Cook on 222. Cook is probably the last one you could say is in a feasible kind of contention for the title, but even then, 56 points off of Tom Ingram. In the manufacturers, Alliance Racing Ford is currently 17 points clear of BMW. Accelerate Hyundai is another 59 points back. And then in the teams outright, Napa Racing's on 509, Bristol Green Motors on 437, BMW on 381, LKQ, Eurocar Parts with Synthetic, are on 366. That's pretty impressive to see. In the independents, Aaron Taylor-Smith is nearly 50 points clear of his teammate Mikey Doble. 14 independent wins of the season now. And then in the Jack Sears, Mikey Doble is 69 points clear of Ronan Pearson. I'll wrap up by quickly talking about the support races. The minis were great. We saw the title wrapped up for Dan Zelos, who wins his third mini challenge title. There were lots of binging and banging, and cars often seemed the most fragile of the Toka package over the course of the weekend, which I thought was really bizarre, because I would have thought it would have been the Porsche Cups, but they seemed a fair bit more bulletproof. I think the first safety car of the day happened when, was it George Gamble? Ended up off through the gravel and in a wall, but the car was still able to get back to the pits. Something that we didn't see as much with the Mini. We saw drivers just had to pull off because, oh, there's a bit of damage to the car. It just was not possible to get it back. The Ford Legends are also tons of fun. They're great at tracks like Knockhill, because it's, in a way, a bit similar to the other ones that we see them at, something like Brands Indy or Donington National, because you can get some good drafting and you can get some good side-by-side with the corners. Because they're so narrow, you can get multiple lines. Their last appearance on the Toka package this season saw a hectic and dramatic end to the season and a shock title win of the finale for Jack Parker. 5 points from Tyler Reid, I believe, with Will Gibson having to limp the car across the line, and ended up being third. So the title was decided quite dramatically in comparison to the Minis, which still come back at Brands. British F4 did tie in well, I think, with iRacing, because they chose to have their European F4 Championship there this week. Dean Fairclough kept the lead over the championship by over 100 points. We saw some good side-by-side action, but also few occasions of missing front wings. To be honest, I love the Toka package. I don't tend to necessarily follow the formula aspects of it, but good racing was had by all, good action was shown by all, and it was a great way to enjoy a Sunday afternoon. And those are my thoughts, my feelings, and my reflections on the BTCCs around at Knockhill. Thank you so much as always for watching and for joining and for listening through. Let me know any of your thoughts in the comment section down below. And I hope to see you again soon for some more. Bye for now.